Sure, there's
Should just be an agent that controls your screen.
good
It
old
just
fashioned.
plays around with the audio and video settings until it works.
There you go. Hey, Kevin,
Hello, how's my audio?
your audio sounds fine to me.
It's very audible.
Amazing. I've been having the last maintainer call. I was scrambling while David asked me to speak with audio. So
No worries. I and Rakshak are in physical proximity, and so we're using the same login to speak today.
awesome. Hey, Raksha.
Howdy,
Yo.
how's it going?
Going great.
Awesome. Well, we've got the recording kicked off, and I think we've got a quorum of participants here. Why don't we go ahead and jump right into it? So I'll start. The update of version 2 of the Builder Smart Contract is coming along well. The code's been all finished and has been sent over to the auditors early this week. So expecting word back from the auditors fairly soon. Still targeting early next week to deploy V2, presuming everything's good with the audit and with the testing. The big things to highlight there is sort of automating some of the processes that's a bit manual right now, and also getting towards sort of faster cadence than monthly for distributing tokens that are earned by builders. But overall, builders is doing great. It's awesome to see so many subnets registering, a lot of excitement in the community, people sort of invigorated that they can come up with an idea, launch a subnet, and people can start staking towards it and they can get rewards. Sort of a very simple, fast process for getting people involved. So that's really exciting to see, and I think going to be really huge going into ETH Denver, which is coming up here towards the end of the month. Reminder for anybody going to Denver, 26th of February, Dawn of Agents is one of the events the Morpheus community will be at. I'll be speaking there. So if you're coming out, be sure to register. I think there's a Luma link up on X, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, that's kind of the quick and dirty on smart contracts, focused on this Builder Smart Contract update. Looks like it's all coming together. Kevin, you want to transition to talking about builders in general?
Yeah. Really looking forward to those smart contract updates. Improving the monthly cadence, that'll be awesome. So yeah, thanks for all the work on that. I'm an excited stakeholder. On the builder subnets, just more onboarding, a lot of interest, a lot of teams. That I've been talking with and kind of introducing to others in the Morpheus ecosystem. It's a really clean way to get something started. The big update for this week, I would say, is that V1 of the builder docs is out. And so that's the culmination of a bunch of learning from when it shipped. The Morpheus, it's on the Morpheus Gitbook account. It will be on docs.more.org very soon. Currently, it's on the standard Gitbook link, but that includes a lot of helpful information for any builders out there who want to get started without having to be in a chat with me. You can go through it. It shows you how to register. It gives you information on how to incentive align with the Morpheus community, things that can attract more stake to your subnet. It gives some ideas on how to integrate builder subnets into your product, whether it's an agent subscription model or an API, or whatever it is you're doing. Kind of gives some pointers there, and then it also points builders in the right direction to look at some of the tooling and compute resources. So how do you use the MORAgents local install in order to prototype some agent that you're building? How do you install the compute node in order to set up hooks and use Morpheus compute for your agent? All of those kind of introductory things are in those docs, so know that those are available. Excited to kind of share that the first version of that is out, and I'll keep maintaining those docs. So when V2 of the smart contracts come out, I'll expand the section in there around how the builder contracts work, in order for builder subnets to kind of understand things like claiming their rewards, maintenance of their subnet, and things of that nature.
Awesome. Sounds good, Kevin. Anything you need from another maintainer? Any support you could use?
On those docs, it would be really great if all the maintainers just gave them a read, because I think there are a couple important things. One is that I'm not there isn't any like reinventing the wheel there. So I've tried to work already with maintainers to reference documentation that already exists. So I'm focusing on the information architecture and the onboarding flow for a builder, but I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel for docs that already exist. So as an example, the compute node docs, there's just a link to the GitHub docs on becoming a consumer of the compute node. Things like that. So it'd be just great if all maintainers just gave them a read and started giving me feedback, and we can just kind of continue to iterate there.
Awesome. Sounds good. Appreciate that. Well, Kyle, you want to jump in next? Love to hear the update on all things compute, man.
Sure. So this week we just got the first image running on Akash of the compute node. So that's a one-click template for launching either a consumer or a provider through Akash. It's not ready for, excuse me 1 second. Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Not ready for public consumption yet. Still, working through some updates to make sure it's perfectly easy, perfectly clear. I would say by next week we should have that live. And again, that's just one-click template on Akash for setting up the compute node. Really will be a big win for the community. Will help with people onboarding in a simple way without kind of running any Morpheus software on their local computer. Everything can just be connected through the ports of the provider on Akash. So really great stuff, and looking forward to getting an announcement out on that soon.
Awesome, man. Appreciate your hard work on that. I know Ryan and Alan and others contributed, and you've been testing it out, getting it across the line. But yeah, I mean, so much activity is on Akash. They seem to be doing really well. So I think that'll be a big milestone.
Definitely.
Cool, man. Anything you need from other maintainers? How can we support you?
I would say from the other maintainer side, just continuing to push to drive demand to the compute node. That I think that's remains number one priority, and I will probably give that same feedback every week for forever. So it's just something we always have to keep top of mind and keep driving towards.
Awesome.
And
Sounds
yeah,
good, man.
on that point, subnets consuming Morpheus compute will be celebrated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like the way you described it, Kevin, in the diagram that shows sort of alignment to Morpheus, and obviously consuming Morpheus compute is a great way for a subnet to signal that. So good stuff. Well, Chris, I see you jumped on. Welcome, welcome. I gave a brief update on smart contract development, and anything you want to cover on audits or anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I think there's 2 points. The audits are kind of, we're still waiting in queue for that, so I'm not sure when that's going to be back. We'll hope to have an update on it, but it's been delayed. So that's on the audit side. I will echo Kyle on the builder side. Sorry, echo Kyle on the compute demand side as it relates to builders. I think you and I had talked about this, but I think I mentioned on prior call. A lot of the original coding weights that were structured, there wasn't a mechanism for builders. In the early days of Morpheus, those have been upgraded. Those are being upgraded to builder subnets. So some contributors that were set up as coding weights initially, they were capped at kind of their earning potential, and they're being upgraded to builder subnets, so they'll be able to kind of expand their influence. But those are the 2 things they're working on right now, and just trying to head into getting everything ready for the snapshot on the 15th.
Awesome. Sounds good. Appreciate the update. Yeah, I know there's a lot of contributors excited about making that migration over to the builder side, and then they can sort of go and attract stakers and build a community around what they're building in particular. So yeah, definitely appreciate your work to get that moved over. Anything else you need from maintainers? Anything people can support you with?
Yeah, I think the right now, like the key thing for maintainers is, and I've asked each maintainer to give me kind of where they're seeing the highest value in their where they're working, and breaking it down again to a dollar value for contributors, so that we can make sure that things are properly aligned. So that's what I would ask. And then the other part is I think that there's a, in all of this, there's a, Morpheus is developing. So anybody that's leaning into testing and kind of going over, kind of helping push the edge of things. So Kevin, I know you've been doing a lot of work, helping people, and builders, maintainers, people understand how to navigate through the friction of creating those builder subnets. But anybody that's leaning in and contributing, to that process and has feedback, drop it back into to Anton. It is very helpful to get feedback from community members on on using things. So, and that applies not just on the builder side, but also applies to the compute side. So on the compute side, I know Kyle and Scott and a few others have really leaned into helping smooth out the edges. So anyone helping us smooth out the edges is very much appreciated. Your work is appreciated, even if we don't ping you. Those comments are seen and passed along, and any community member that wants to get involved, that's leaning in hard, will certainly be pulled into signal chats as well from the Discord. So offer the feedback to, what I would ask is to just offer the feedback to Anton, get in touch with the MRI maintainers that where you're working, and we'd love to see you involved.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you, sir. All right. Bo, you want to jump in next?
Yeah, hi everybody. So, as always, tons of conversations this week. One that I think we should be listed on very shortly is cookie.fun, which seems to be a pretty good aggregator of just the DAI space in general. Kevin, I know we talked about this, but when I did connect with the founder of the site, and I'm pushing for Morpheus to be its own category, or like among other similar ecosystem platforms, and not necessarily just viewed as the singular more token in the way that they record it. But that's might be a bigger battle over a longer period of time. But that's in the works. We had Week-In-Morpheus go out yesterday, which was covering the super agent article from David. So David, thank you for that. And then also Week-In-Morpheus now includes an event calendar. Kevin, thank you for that. And so everyone keep an eye out for that. Coming out later today, Brainpower episode 6, sat down with the guys from CoinCap to talk about their builder. And just as a reminder to anyone who's running a builder subnet, I want to talk to you. I want to help highlight what it is that you're doing, how you're using the Morpheus ecosystem to create the product or service or project or thing that you're working on. And we want to give you that spotlight to help you do so, and propagate the ecosystem. Kevin, I know you and I talked about this as well. We're going to be doing the builder spotlights too, which would be like written content, kind of hand in hand with the video audio stuff. That's all I have for this week.
Sounds good. Appreciate that, Bo. Glad you're highlighting all the builders in the space, and I think your audience for Week-In-Morpheus is over 4,000 now. So that includes many of the people that showed up to all the decentralized AI events. So if you're a builder, that's an extremely high value list of people that you want to stake towards your project. So get in touch with Bo, and love to highlight more and more of the builders in the space. Cool. Anything you need from other maintainers, Bo?
No, not specifically, other than conversations I've had with people directly. But likewise, if I can help anyone out, please let me know.
Awesome. Sounds good. Hey, Luke, you want to jump in?
Being asked to come to stage and chat a little bit. I'm really excited about just seeing the updates in the Git book about the builders stuff. So I'm going to be diving into that. Hopefully, have some time today, and if all goes well, put together a video for that. I really am excited about increasing the demand on the builder side by just making it easier. Just letting people understand, like, I got a cool thing I'm building. How do I monetize it through Morpheus? How do I get it out there? And then also too, how do I then turn to the compute bucket and say, hey guys, these are the specific models I need. Who wants to host it? I'm ready to stake in order to keep my builder project running flawlessly. So you just want to remind everyone that we're very early with all of this. I know it's super exciting what Morpheus has put together, the infrastructure and everything, but we're just getting started. It's just barely getting off the ground. So we're not seeing a ton of, people running compute yet, and not seeing a ton of builder projects yet using that compute, obviously. So we're getting there though. And I just want to encourage everyone, if it feels like a little bit like, wow, what's going on? Like, let's get going. It's just, these things take time. It takes a little while. And the community's here and available to you if you have questions or concerns. And as to that point, like just this past week, I was at a luncheon with a bunch of investors out here in Dorado, Puerto Rico. Brian Berger and I kind of did a little presentation. It was like specifically an AI event for a few hours, and we talked about Morpheus and just that main idea. And I want to kind of highlight it here again, is that if you're a developer or you're somebody building something and your client comes to you and says, hey, I need you to AI-ify our thing we're doing or whatever, being able to come to them and say, hey, that would normally cost you X thousands of dollars in compute costs through AWS or whatever, you can now say, buy Morpheus, stake it to the project that I'm building for you, which I will register as a builder project. We will then earn Morpheus tokens, which we can then stake right to the compute bucket to get all that inference and everything we need to actually run the project. So it takes what used to be a cost, a fee that client has to pay, into an asset. And that's kind of the whole exciting nature of this. And of course, those compute providers may have to sell some of those tokens to cover energy costs and new infrastructure for hardware and all that. And that's where the capital bucket comes in. And that capital bucket supports that with the constant buying of the Morpheus token. So this just beautiful ecosystem working together is just coming online. And we're just starting to talk to different investors and people that are like, yeah, this is what we needed. This is perfect. So I'm pretty excited about it. My request for other maintainers is, as you've already been doing, as stuff comes up and it's ready, definitely send it my way, and I will hopefully do a little video to explain it to people. I've been excited about Builder Bucket, but I keep hearing there's a new update from the dashboard coming and this, that, and the other. So I'm kind of like holding off a little bit. But again, I'm fine with doing multiple videos as well. If something gets upgraded, we can just do another video. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you want something explained in a video, and I'll do what I can. That's it for me.
Awesome. Sounds good, Luke. I think of you as a maintainer in spirit. So appreciate you jumping up anytime.
I'll second that sentiment.
Yeah, exactly. Much appreciated all the awesome videos you do. I think it makes it accessible to a lot of people. I was just dropping a suggestion. I think also it'd be good to expand these sessions from Discord and pop a copy onto X. Probably even we could, play it on a space and it would show up as a space, right? That kind of, broader audience beyond the people here on Discord, I think is important. So anyway, keep being awesome. And it actually just had sort of a thought. I hear the recurring pain point of we should really have, more testers of especially the compute stuff, especially as the Akash template becomes available and sort of becomes easier for people to log in and try it both as a provider and as a consumer. It might be interesting. I could spin up a subnet on builders, call it Morpheus testers, and I'd be happy to stake towards it, right? And we can start rewarding people that are doing that testing work, right? Show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome, right? So let's create an incentive for Morpheus testers would be interesting, and builders is sort of a elegant way to do that. So I'll try to take some time today. Maybe I can spin that up, but we can start incentivizing community testing in a more direct way. Could be interesting. So I'll work a bit on that. But let's go to
on that point. Yeah. I was just gonna say on that point. I'd like to point out I had this conversation with Kevin yesterday, or back and forth with him on it. I think it's important for community members to know that their contributions are noticed. And so while there may not be a specific builder subnet, or they may not have specifically tapped into, tapped in, or there's no application process for subnets, but community members who are leaning in are getting compensated. So their work will be noticed. And there are bonuses that are sent out. There are, I think there's a couple of subnets that have specifically been set aside. I know that I've contributed to one that will be paying out bonuses to, or paying out to people in the community who are contributing and that need to be compensated for. So I think that some of the larger early, especially some of the earlier contributors, Morpheus, we recognize the value of that. So I would just challenge everybody, just lean in and lean in, and you'll be, Morpheus make sure that it compensates people who are doing that.
Cool. Sounds great. I'll ping you and we can talk through which subnets are doing that, and if it makes sense to have another one doing that as well. Cool. Rakshak, why don't we go to you? I don't know if I have screen share powers, but I can try. Why don't you go ahead and start the update? I'll play around with it.
Hey guys, this is Rakshak. I'm sitting beside David. So yeah, we have some good updates. Next year we're gonna do a little alpha test of the upcoming new web app. So MORAgents is being renamed to My Super Agent. So that'll be on mysuperagent.io next week. It's not live yet, but it's going to have about 12 to 14 different agents that you're going to be able to use. You're going to sign in with your wallet, and it'll be completely free to use at first. And we'll have a pro version in March. And so you're going to be able to get sentiment analysis on different crypto just by asking the agent. You'll be able to ask it about different social media posts, sort of by relevance for different tokens you're interested in getting updates on. It also pulls from Discord, and then you can also ask it to access data from Codex, the Codex blockchain API, as well as the existing agents. So you can write tweets, you can do chat with PDF, you can do Coinbase transactions, you can do swaps on a recurring basis, you can look at token prices, all that stuff. So we're gonna have easily a dozen agents or more on a web app next week that anyone can use. And then in March we're going to do an update where users can stake more tokens and be eligible for higher usage limits, and also for more powerful models. So you can use like the bigger DeepSeek models, for example. That's going to happen then. And we're going to gradually work in the Morpheus compute node. It's going to be a secondary compute option around March-April timeline, and then as we prove out, battle test it, we will make that the primary way to use it. So David has a screen share here going. If you don't mind, go to the first photo. So this is the you can ask for token safety. So this is asking the agent, and the cool thing is, the user, when you're using this, you don't need to pick the agent. You just ask it for what you want, and it automatically picks the agent for you. And when you load it up fresh, it'll actually have a bunch of pre-filled options that you can just click. So you don't need to type anything either if you don't want to type. So you can just click on it or type out whatever you want to see. So this is an example of checking for token safety for the SAMO token, and you can see that it's mentioning that there's a lot of liquidity unlocked, and there's some metadata that's missing. So it's just giving you seeing how good their housekeeping is, how good their liquidity is. Can you go to the next one? This is just one of the existing price agents. So right now it just gives you a price graph. We're going to do an upgrade in the near future with Cambrian. So Cambrian has a price agent where you can do tabulated data. So you can say, I want the price of these 5 tokens, from January 1st of this year to now, and then it'll actually give you a CSV file. This is a different one. This is top trending tokens on Ethereum. And I really hope you guys can see, this is a social one. So what are people saying about LDO? So you can see the different tweets. And then you can have it generate a tweet for you too. Now, I think what you're seeing is that these are really cool agents, and these are in a way, in their own sense, tools for other agents to even use. And so one upgrade we're going to do next month, and I think this is going to blow this out of the water even more, is that we're going to have something called the multi-agent framework. So you could give a really, really high level task like, hey, this is my investment thesis. This is how much money I'm willing to spend every day. Go at it. And what'll happen is it'll pull data from these different feeds automatically. It'll create a job, and then it could create like a recurring transaction. And one of the things that we've integrated is called Lit Protocol. And Lit Protocol lets us manage the policy and the key management away from the agent. So the agent can construct a transaction, but the agent never has the final authority to sign and execute the transaction. And this is important because agents have a tendency to hallucinate and to veer off track. And so by having the policy managed by Lit in a deterministic way, and it uses trusted execution environment for proper key reassembly, then we can basically get the best of both worlds. We can have our cake and eat it too. So we can have agents do really complex interactions and come up with really interesting analyses and execute on those automatically. But we're never going at the vulnerability of giving them the private key. And so this is, more agents has been close to a year of work for us to build out all these agents. So really excited to have this out as a web app next week where everyone can play with it. And what it's going to graduate to is later on it's going to be a forge where you're going to say, oh, hey, I created this workflow using your existing agents. I want this new workflow to be its own agent. And then when it's its own agent, that can get published to the Morpheus registry. And then someone can basically charge a fee for that service. So people can go and break out, make their own agents as compositions of the included ones.
Awesome. That's really exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to use it as a web app. I think that'll lower the barrier for a lot of people who don't feel like they can navigate a local install.
Yeah,
So.
and we'll have it ready during the ETH Denver time. So really excited to share that out to the community.
Awesome. Yeah, I connected you with Mike Anderson.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys can find a time slot for Dawn of Agents to highlight it. So cool. Anything you need from other maintainers, support you'd like?
I'm good. I've also been testing out the compute node stuff. So working through that, and I'll probably ping you soon, Kyle, on what I'm finding on the requirement side. But I was able to open up a session yesterday and consume a DeepSeek model completely through Morpheus Compute. So that was really exciting to see. And it was paid for with more tokens.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love to see it. So I know Ryan and Alan and others have worked hard on a bunch of UI improvements in the latest 2.3. So yeah, that's starting to pay off. So that's the big payoff, right? Is being able to connect together these different parts of the ecosystem and get compute added in there. So awesome. Good stuff, man. All right. Well, I don't have too much else to cover. Does anybody other have subjects that they want to bring up? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and call it a end of the recording. Going once, going twice. All right, guys. Keep being awesome. We'll see you online.
Thanks, David.
Good.
Catch you later. Bye.
Yep. See
Thanks,
ya.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.